call freedom and something so precious that we call justice. I don't believe in this dichotomy, and I think I can prove to you, and I'll try now, that what capitalism says is freedom, it's not. And it's only freedom for a few, which the right name of that is privilege, it's not freedom. So I'll start with that. And there is a definition of freedom that it's the following, and when you hear it, it might sound like something acceptable, something neutral at least. And it is when we say, I don't know if you say it here in Serbia, you let me know, my freedom finishes where your freedom starts. Have you ever heard that? It's well known, right? My freedom finishes where yours start. At first glance, I said it might seem a very acceptable definition because it seems precisely that it's taking the other person into account, right? It's not like my freedom is all over, but I recognize I'm not alone in the world. So there is a need for me to accept the limits to my freedom posed by others. So as I said, it might be a definition that some of you have used sometimes in an acceptable manner. But if we go a bit deeper in that definition of freedom, what happens is that if my freedom really finishes where yours start, if I want to increase mine, what has to happen to yours? It's obvious it has to shrink, or what usually happens is I increase mine and you increase yours towards somewhere else, but somebody's going to pay the price. And that's what I think it's really happening in the world many times when there are processes of liberation in one place and then suddenly more oppression appears somewhere else. This is a competitive, really a territorial notion of freedom. But do we have, then I'll go into historical examples, but now I'm still at the theoretical level. Okay, do we have another definition of freedom? Do we have alternatives to this understanding of freedom? Here I could now go into the also theological understanding of freedom that comes from the Gospel of John or comes from the writings of Augustine in the 5th century. But because I suspect many in the audience might not be exactly Christian believers and churchgoers, so I won't do it with a Christian example. If you ask me the questions, I will have to do, but I will use another one, which is the anarchist tradition. If you start with Bakunin and some of the best anarchist thinkers, they talk differently about freedom. They don't say that my freedom competes with yours. They say that the saying about freedom in anarchist tradition is, I will not be free until all are free. That's a bit different, isn't it? It's completely different. What each of us who are here tonight, right, what do I think freedom is? Because if we're going to fight for something, if we are demonstrating and we want to do it in a way that is able to change things, well, that seems an important thing, right? What do I think is freedom? And what is my notion of freedom? It's very different if I have eaten up and internalized the capitalist definition of freedom, which is territorial and competitive, my freedom against yours, or if I am convinced that whatever it is that I call my freedom has a synergic, a solidarian, right, interaction with yours. Whatever I think it's my freedom, when it grows, yours also grows. Or when yours grows, that helps me also to grow. And actually, as the tradition in anarchism goes, it's impossible for me to be free unless all are free.